I no longer believe that this team is learning how to win. It feels more like the coaches are finding new ways to lose games rather than figuring out how to win them. This season is all but over for the Chicago Bears. Another game that the defense dominated and the coaching staff let this one slip away. Luke Getsy could not get this offense going at all. But even with all of that, we still should have won the game. Darnell Mooney literally had the game in his lap and let it slip through his fingertips again. I love Darnell Mooney and I've been a big fan of his, but he has the worst history when it comes to making plays in close ball games. The writing should be on the wall for Luke Getsy, maybe even Matt Eberflus as well. I even think it's possible that this team could move on from Justin Fields in the offseason. Again, I wouldn't do it, but to say it's not possible with the draft capital we have and the way these last 3 years have gone would be kind of wild. The Bears have blown 3 games this season where they had a 10-plus point lead in the fourth quarter and ended up losing the game. That is tied for the most in NFL history. That's another special record for Matt Eberflus, and it falls directly on the coaching staff. Matt Eberflus is 8-23 as a head coach of the Chicago Bears. That is a winning percentage of barely 25%. To his credit, this defense has played some inspiring football over the last 6 weeks, but watching these losses has felt all too familiar as a Bears fan. We've all seen this before. Even with the 17-7 lead entering the fourth quarter yesterday, I had zero faith in this coaching staff and just had this sick feeling that we were about to give this game away. Too many missed opportunities and questionable coaching calls. I'm not going to make a single excuse for anybody, not Justin Fields, not Matt Eberflus, not Luke Getsy. To me, I think it should be clear to anyone who watched that game, we have a top 10 defense in the NFL, but our offense was pathetic. We could not pass protect, and we could not run the ball at all. The Browns' defensive line dominated our offensive line. It didn't help that Tevin Jenkins left the game early with a concussion, but it's simply a fact. The Browns dominated us in the trenches. After yesterday's game, I don't know what to think. The game was still ours for the taking because our defense dominated the Browns. Matt Eberflus's decision to throw a Hail Mary before halftime after driving downfield and getting in range for a last-second 53-yard field goal was just insane to me. The Hail Mary has the lowest success rate of any play in NFL history. That's why it's called a Hail Mary. You're just throwing the ball up for grabs and praying that someone on your team comes down with it. I understand the conditions were awful in Cleveland and that Cairo Santos might have missed that field goal. But when the announcers and the fans in the seats all saw Cairo nailing 55-plus yarders in pregame, not even giving him a chance is mind-blowing to me. Even if Cairo misses the field goal there, it's still a much higher percentage play than throwing a Hail Mary. Those are the kind of mistakes that cost you football games. And if we would have got that field goal, we would have won the game. But we also passed up on another opportunity for a short field goal later in the game on a 4th and 1. And the final play of the game, again choosing to throw another Hail Mary. Those calls are all made by the head coach. And to me, Eberflus has proven he does not know how to manage a game. Yes, he got this defense to play great. I give him a ton of credit for that. But his awareness in crucial situations just does not seem to be there for me. I'm torn right now. I know that we didn't have enough talent to win last year, and I gave both Getsy and Eberflus the benefit of the doubt. But no matter how hard this team fights, the coaches have not put them in the best position to succeed. That is plain and simple to me. The coaches do not call game plans that best fit their players. That's on offense and defense. Think back to yesterday's game. Most people probably didn't see this, but even though the defense played a great game and dominated most of the day, on the biggest play of the game, 3rd down and 15, tie game, 1 minute left, ball at midfield, and the Browns need to pick up 15 yards for a first down. One stop, and the Bears would get the ball back with a chance to win the game. I talked multiple times this week about not letting David Njoku run free through our secondary. What happens on the biggest play of the game? Matt Eberflus decides to drop Justin Jones into coverage. Our 300-pound defensive tackle, who was asked about it by Nicholas Moreno in an interview, and said he does not even practice dropping into coverage. So why on earth would Eberflus choose to drop him into coverage, putting him on David Njoku on the biggest play of the game and possibly the entire season on defense? We all know what happened. David Njoku gets behind Justin Jones easily, picks up the first down and a lot more, puts the Browns into field goal range to win the game. Justin Jones was the guy in coverage, and the safeties were another 10 to 15 yards downfield. I have no explanation for why on earth he would call a play like that. Even if you are going to drop a defensive lineman into coverage, we have much more athletic guys, much more lengthy guys, guys like Dominique Robinson and Montez Sweat, even big Gervon Dexter. But I still wouldn't ask any of those guys to cover David Njoku on the biggest play of the game. It's just not acceptable to me. I feel like instead of learning how to win, the coaches are just discovering new ways to lose, and it puts Ryan Poles in a tough position entering this offseason. Both DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney have came out and said Justin Fields is the franchise quarterback. They've both said that in the past 24 hours, and I agree with them. But I won't dispute the fact that maybe the front office decides to go another way this offseason. It's tough. Do you want to run it back and bring Eberflus, Getsy, and Fields back? Do you want to clean house and get rid of Eberflus, Getsy, and Fields? Do you want to just fire Getsy and try to bring in a new offensive coordinator to work with Fields and under Matt Eberflus? I just don't know how realistic that one is or who would want that job. So then does our next head coach want to keep Justin Fields? This one loss could determine the future of a lot of people in this organization. I'm glad I'm not the person making decisions. There are going to be some tough decisions to make regarding the future of this franchise. I think Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren will begin discussing those decisions soon. Mathematically, the Bears are not eliminated from the playoffs yet, but that game all but ended our playoff hopes. I'm not going to continue talking about the playoffs, but I will tell you there's a path. We pretty much need the Saints, Packers, Vikings, and Rams to lose at least 2 out of the next 3 games, but it's pretty much over for us at this point. I will be watching a ton of tape, going back over every game and trying to find patterns and get a better feel of what went wrong this season. Also be watching the college football playoffs very closely and studying more tape on the 2024 draft prospects. I still believe the future of this team is bright. I just have a lot more questions than I do answers right now, and there is a lot of uncertainty heading into this offseason. That's with the coaching staff and the players on this roster. Stay tuned, guys. I'll be here covering it every step of the way. Let me know what you guys think, though. I always love reading your comments. This week is not going to be fun. It's going to be another long off season coming up, so I'm going to enjoy these last 3 games. I still think we can win, and I really, really want to beat the Green Bay Packers and end the season on a high note. Please remember to hit that like button for me, guys, and until next time, bear down.